Coming up on Mountain News this morning, we hear more from those who support and oppose a bill that targets gender-affirming care for transgender children. And a former University of Kentucky student accused of a racist attack against another student makes a couple of appearances in court.
Dedicated to Eastern and Southern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News This Morning.
6:34 here on your Monday. I'm Dakota Makris. Thanks so much for waking up with us. And it's a chilly start to our Monday. Let's take it over to Brandon for a look at that forecast. And Brandon, it was so cold this morning that Winona did not even wake me up this morning like she normally does. She just stayed in bed. She just laid there. I was like, I wish I was you right now. I wish I was you.
Know when it's cold outside.
Yep, she did not move, but then she eventually got up to eat breakfast. But
there you go.
You know, it's the most important meal of the day.
It's exactly right. Forecast this morning, it is chilly out there. We'll take a look at Jenkins Mountain there on US 119. US 23, no major issues, no major traffic there this morning. But the temperatures are cold. Clintwood is actually up a degree. They went from 10 to 11, but still a lot of cold air out there this morning. The spots that are not in the teens, 21 Moorhead, Jackson, 21 Prestonsburg, 20 Pikeville, and 22 Monticello. That is it. Everybody else is in the teens this morning. Your emoji cast, frosty start to the morning. For some, the dew points are low, so there's not a whole lot of moisture in the air. Some folks seeing frost, some folks not. Sunny skies later today. Clouds give way to, or excuse me, sunshine gives way to clouds tomorrow, 60 degrees. Then we take a step back on Wednesday with a temperature and scattered chances for showers move into the region, about 53 for a daytime high. Dakota?
All right, Brennan, thank you. Senate Bill 150 started out as an act on parents' rights and protecting teachers who misgender students. It was later modified to include the language of House Bill 470 banning gender-affirming care. The new version of the bill passed the General Assembly. As Samantha Valentino reports, those against the bill have concerns about its potential mental health impacts on the LGBTQ+ community.
Senate Bill 150 was passed last week. Now it's heading to Governor Beshear's desk. Supporters say the bill is focused on empowering parents and protecting kids.
Because this is going to be a win for the Commonwealth of Kentucky. It's a win for parents, and it's a win for our kids.
But others say it will do just the opposite.
I want you to understand those 3 kids that killed themselves in JCPS in January and February. Get ready, because it is going to avalanche.
Many doctors testified both in favor of and against Senate Bill 150 in Frankfort.
Sex researchers Bailey and Blanchard note that there is no persuasive evidence that gender transition reduces gender dysphoric children's likelihood of killing themselves.
Dr. David Pascal Haig was in Frankfurt with the Kentucky Psychological Association. He says Senate Bill 150 can affect mental health at several levels.
It's not just the impact of this bill in the schools and on children, but it's going to be at that societal level of people wondering, is it safe to talk to my neighbors? Is it safe to talk to my coworkers about what's going on? So I think we're going to see those impacts at the individual level with the kids, and we're also going to see it in the family level and in our communities.
Dr. Pascal Haig says bills like this send a message to children that adults aren't listening to them.
And I want the youth who are wrapped up in this to remember that there are adults who love them, and we want them to have access to affirming love and care. And we want to give them that space to become who they need to be, and whatever that means for them.
That was Samantha Valentino reporting. Governor Andy Beshear can veto Senate Bill 150, and he is expected to. However, lawmakers could override that action at the end of the month. Well, this past weekend marked 1 year since 4 Marines were killed in a NATO training exercise in Norway. One of them was Eastern Kentucky native Jacob Moore of Catlettsburg. The 24-year-old from Boyd County enlisted in the Marines in 2018 and was stationed in North Carolina. He was honored with a memorial highway, and his family is working on a tribute at the Veterans Cemetery where he was laid to rest. On Sunday, a memorial run was also held at Ashland Central Park to remember his life and his service. A settlement has been reached in the death of a Tennessee student after he died just hours after wrestling practice. This is Louisville, Tennessee native Grant Brace. The 20-year-old was a student athlete at the University of the Cumberlands. The lawsuit says Brace died from a heat stroke after he begged for water and was refused during wrestling team's first training day of the season. The $14 million settlement includes an agreement for the university to participate in a heat illness training program and to help raise awareness for heat-related injuries. A former University of Kentucky student accused in a racist attack was back in court last week. Sophia Rosing was indicted last Tuesday, and on Friday, a not guilty plea was entered for her. She's accused of physically assaulting a student worker while repeatedly using racial slurs. Video shows a reportedly intoxicated Rosing in an altercation with the black desk worker at Boyd Hall during the early morning hours of November 6, 2022. She is due back in court in May. The annual Kentucky Mr. and Mrs. Basketball Awards were presented Sunday night in Lexington, and one of the Mountain's own took home the night's biggest honor. Our Courtney Lane Brewer has more about the ceremony.
Region champion, Kentucky basketball commit, and now Mr. Basketball for the state he calls home. Reed Shepard is officially Mr. Kentucky basketball, capping off a career that will not be forgotten.
From North Laurel High School, it's Reed Shepard.
It means a lot. You know, it's an unbelievable award that a very special player gets every year, and to be able to hear my name called, you know, it means a lot to me.
He joined several Mountain honorees at this evening's ceremony and took home the honor that many had tapped him for years now.
You know, growing up in Kentucky, everybody wants to be a part of the Mr. Basketball, and being able to finally be here and win it, you know, it's a really special moment for me.
He's set to follow in the footsteps of both his parents and take his talents to Big Blue Nation in the fall, something the Shepard family is humbly very proud of.
It is a really big award, and it's a real honor and a privilege for him to be named Mr. Kentucky Basketball. But, you know, Reed is just Reed to us, and we're proud of him no matter what.
So I had to ask Reed, after winning the region, playing hard at Rupp, and winning the big trophy tonight, what's next? He said he'll take some time to relax, but stay in the gym and get ready for June, when he officially begins practice as a Kentucky Wildcat. In Lexington, I'm Courtney Lane Brewer, WIMT Mountain Sports.
The boys' Sweet 16 tournament at Rupp Arena had its best attendance since 2014. More than 11,000 fans attended the championship game between GRC and Warren Central. In total, 99,565 fans attended in a 4-day span.
.641 here on this cold Monday morning. We're in our final hours of winter, and it feels like it out there. 10 right now in Clintwood, 16 in Hazard, 17 in London, 14 in Irvin, 21 Moorhead, Jackson, 22 a tie now for a warm spot in Prestonsburg and Monticello, 20 in Pikeville. A lot of teens, and you see Southwest Virginia, some of the coldest spots in the region over that way. Manchester is at 15 this morning. State and region wide, we are at 22 in Nashville, 23 in Owensboro, 22 across the river in Cincinnati, 18 in the Tri-Cities and Somerset, and 24 in Knoxville. Your out-the-door forecast features, again, a warmer day on tap thanks to some sunshine. We should get up to right around 50 degrees after a chilly start to this morning. Dakota?
All right, Brendan, thank you so much. When we come back here on Mountain News this morning, a recalled brand of artificial tears is to blame for causing eye infections that have led to at least one death and a permanent change in several people's lives.